they started sending me notices again about my yard, and I told them I wasn't going to clean it up. So then they said, if you don't clean it up, you're going to jail. So I went to jail. And I went up there and told the whole story to Mike Jones and said, I had a 15 pages. It took me about 5 minutes to read 15 pages. And I told him, start to finish, everything that happened and why I was going to jail. And Mike Jones let me go. And I ain't got a bit of use for him either, because that was not the law. There was never any law for me to have to go just because I wouldn't clean up my yard.
Now, you said that Mike Jones put you in jail, or he let you go?
Well, he sentenced me to jail. 6 months. So
you spent 6 months in jail?
I spent 5.5. I was supposed to stay 6 months, and they let me out 2 weeks early.
You think you were a political prisoner?
Well, it was, yeah, I think so. I think it was against the Constitution of the United States, too. Because your home is your castle. I don't care what kind of mess you got. I said I wasn't going to clean it up, and I did. But then I stayed. Oh, yeah, whenever they, see, we was coming down the stairs of the courthouse, and I had a deputy in front of me and one behind me, just like I was a dangerous criminal, with 2 deputies. And we come down the steps, and I said, when you're 73 years old, if you get a chance to go to jail, I said, you don't turn it down. You don't get that chance to very much. It won't never happen again. And so I went on, and I wanted to find out. And then, you know, they put a big write-up in the paper, you know, after I'd been in there. It was in January, and I went the 24th of September, and in January they put got a newspaper to come interview me, and I told them that I was investigating that place. They put that in the paper. I was just as contented in there. I was at my bunk, and had all kind of entertainment, you know, reading. I had books and writing letters, and then they give you an hour every day to go out. They called it outside. They'd holler outside, and then you had to say, yeah, I'm going, and I'd be the only one to go. And it'd be cold. One time it was cold, and it was freezing cold, and I went out with those old flip-flops, you know, the shower cloths, and my feet nearly froze. But I walked around the whole time. They let you stay out an hour, and I walked around in that area for a solid hour. And I'd go every time, because I figured that if you're in jail and all you're going to get out of here is 1 hour a day, you better take it to keep your psychologically and everything else. So I did everything, and it didn't bother me. Even if I'd have been in there for any reason, you would still been better to go on. And then one time it wasn't but one other woman. And a lot of times I'd be out there and I'd walk around. The reason, you know why I said it was, I finally found out who was the boss instead of Steve Pierce. And I told him, I said, I thought it's Steve Pierce too, but no. The reason because see, I'd go to work sessions, and that's when I'd see the truth. And one time, Sam Pendleton, in my opinion, Eddie Frost couldn't stand Sam Pendleton. And everybody said they was mean to Sam Pendleton. So Sam Pendleton started asking Mr. Hilliard some questions at the work session about things pertaining to the utilities. And Eddie Frost didn't think that Sam Pendleton should ask Mr. Hilliard anything. He was mad as he could be. And so he got up and stood on that little thing in front of where the council members stood, that little, about that. And Eddie Frost got up there, and he bawled Sam Pendleton out, and didn't want Mr. Hilliard to answer any questions at all about anything he was asking. And it was about you know, the schools, how much one school was getting more appropriations to get things built, and Sam Pendleton was trying to get it down there for that school down there. And twice Eddie Frost did that. And that's the reason then I knew that after Eddie Frost he was furious. You could tell he was boiling mad, and he would never have allowed Steve Pierce. And Steve Pierce wouldn't have dared to go against anything Eddie Frost said, because he was Big Boss Frost. And I said that too. And I said, it's Frost City. And it was. He run this town. He started in about 84. And he was one of the three. They had three city council members: Steve Pierce, Eddie Frost, and somebody else was council. Just at a council, and that's it. And then they didn't even have a permanent mayor. So then when he got it, he was the boss, and he was the boss till he died. And then I said that Jordan said he was going to run the city of Florence just like Eddie Frost did. So then whenever he said that, I got up and told that, what Jordan said. And I said, so now we're city of Florence is being run from a cemetery.
Tell me, what do you think of Steve Pierce?
Well, at the time, I thought he was the boss of Florence, but I found out later it was Eddie Frost, because Eddie Frost would not let anybody be. And I learned the truth at the beginning. Everybody thought Steve Pierce was the main one, and that's the reason that he got a bad reputation. But he was doing what Frost told him. And but now, as far as he's concerned, he was good looking and handsome. I guess good looking and handsome, but in him, he's got a good personality, and I even liked him if you've been into that. And you know, whenever Jimmy Ray Stanfield died, and I went to the funeral home, and I was sitting down because there's such a long line, and then finally this man that was sitting there, he said, "Well, we better get up in line, or we're not ever going to get to see Jimmy Ray." So then I got up, and then I looked back in the back of the line, and I said, "Well, who is that man right there?" I said, "He is really good looking." And I said, "I know him just as well, but I can't think to save my life who it is." So finally I said, "Who is that man right there?" And they said, "Steve Pierce." I said, "Well, I didn't even recognize him." And I thought that was really funny, and he really is a handsome man.